Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day to ladies and gentlemen. I would like to first of all to thank the organizers for this 5th International Information Science Conference 2022, and I am Saliza Matrazi will be presenting on behalf of the team today. I am the second author of this paper, and together with me, 4 dedicated members, namely Huda Hamidun, Nur Rahmawati Alias, Nur Fadzila Arifin, and Dr. Zuriani Ahmad Zulkarnain. We are from the Faculty of Information Management and Faculty of Computer and Mathematical Sciences, University Technology Mara Kelantan Branch. God bless, we have successfully produced a paper entitled Personal Data Abuse Preliminary Survey among Malaysian Youth Netizens. This paper will be of interest to those who have concerns about the privacy of personal data and personal information and its protection. First of all, there was a significant increase in internet users in recent years. According to Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission, MCMC, there are 21% of heavy internet users in Malaysia that spend more than 12 hours a day online compared to 14% in the previous years. In addition, it is also supported by a media statement issued by the Department of Statistics Malaysia on 12 April 2021 on the use and access of ICT by individuals and households for 2020, where internet usage among Malaysians aged 15 and over increased significantly from 84.2% in 2019 to 89.6% in 2020. According to Malaysia Computer Emergency Response Team, in 2021 only, a total of 10,016 incidents of cyber events were reported to Cyber 999 from January to December. Internet use increased as a result of the need and interest in a wide range of online services, and at this point, the Movement Control Order, or MCO, which was implemented in response to the COVID-19 outbreak, has also become one of the major contributing factors that caused internet use to escalate. Since during MCO, users rely on the internet to work from home, to interact with others, and to obtain information, and also to engage learning. Privacy paradox is defined as internet users who claim to care about privacy issues but act in contradictory manner. This situation demonstrates that online users continue to underestimate the importance of data privacy, and maintaining the privacy of sensitive data is one of the key concerns that internet users need to be aware of. Therefore, the aims of this paper are firstly to identify the knowledge state on personal data among Malaysian netizens, and secondly to identify data protection awareness on personal data abuse among Malaysian netizens. One of the main issues that internet users need to take care of is to maintain the confidentiality of personal data. However, it has been observed that an increasing number of internet users are openly exposing their personal information due to the emergence of numerous and useful social media platforms. Whether users share information voluntarily or taken from them unknowingly, both pose a risk for various problems such as identity theft and misuse of information. Previous reports have stated that there has been an increase in the number of cases related to the misuse of privacy information among young people over time. This further reinforces the notion that education and awareness in data protection needs to be given at an early age. Based on the previous study, there are 3 main topics that will be highlighted, including data protection awareness, data oversharing versus personal data breach, and also data protection law. Cressetti et al. 2021 defines data protection as the process of safeguarding and protecting important information from corruption, compromise, or loss. In privacy education, an emphasis on privacy risks associated with information disclosure would be effective to trigger the motivation to protect privacy for netizens, and netizens should be made informed on the reverse effects of privacy erosion. Netizens in Malaysia, particularly, may be given more information and training on how to make decisions while using their personal data on the internet. Especially the youngsters should be equipped with adequate awareness on the issues of data privacy and be guided on internet usage to ensure their maturity level can justify better decision making in any internet transactions involving personal data. Researchers who studied youth characteristics on the internet suggest that they should be given enhanced levels of awareness on personal data privacy issues. Youths are associated with their eagerness in sharing information on the internet and their keenness in exploring it, but are less careful in the safety measures, security practices, and reliability of internet application that they use. They also tend to be misled and distracted by misleading information as well as being victims of cyber threats. Personal and sensitive data must always be taken care of so that it is not abused by irresponsible parties. The question is, to what extent can users share information given that among the purposes of their online activities is for building a career or doing business, socializing, and meeting new acquaintances? In meeting certain needs, there must also be a balance in the sharing of information so that the privacy of information is maintained. Internal factors of data protection risks include oversharing when netizens share excessive amounts of data. Oversharing, as defined by Cambridge Dictionary 2021, is when people reveal too much information about themselves. Statista.com reported that in 2020, Malaysians performed the most online content sharing on social media, which contributes 86.5%, and other platforms use our emails, blogs, or personal websites and forums. In the other hand, one of the external factors of data protection risks include data breach when the confidentiality of data is violated. Data breaches occur when an individual's personal information, including name, social security number, passwords, and other sensitive data, are compromised and put to unauthorized risk of use, either on paper or in electronic format, for fraudulent purposes, including identity theft. Maintaining the privacy of data in cyberspace is extremely challenging because data is collected on almost all actions and transactions that individuals perform, where data may be aggregated by data brokers. Individuals whose personal data have been compromised can be exposed to significant harm if they do not take steps to protect themselves. Data protection law in this context means the obligations imposed under the data protection laws that are applicable to the parties as amended from time to time. The government of Malaysia established the Personal Data Protection Department, or also known as Jabatan Perlindungan Data Pribadi, JPDP, in 2011 to enforce and regulate Personal Data Protection Act, which also known as PDPA, in the country. In enforcing the PDPA, JPDP has been given the authority to register all classes of data users under the order of the responsible minister. JDP basically consists of three main divisions, namely the Registration and Operation Division, Monitoring, and Legal Division. PDPA 2010 was enacted by the Malaysian government to hinder the practice of personal data misuse by certain parties involved in non-governmental transactions. Several legal provisions under the Act were specifically made to control the illegal use of personal data regarding commercial transactions. It should be noted that PDPA 2010 does not cover the practice of government officers in handling and using citizens' personal information. Instead, it regulates the use of public's personal data for commercial transaction purposes only. This study has adapted the questions based on a study by Human Dynamics in association with IPS Institute, Tech Office for Personal Data Protection and Privacy International. The study is entitled Public Awareness for the Right for Personal Data Protection. However, to ensure the suitability of the question with the situation in Malaysia, the researchers have modified the questions and set the breakdown into three main sections. The first section is basically on demographic details to classify respondents, and then the question set in the second section is to identify respondents' knowledge of personal data. The final section is basically on data protection awareness. For result and discussions, in this survey, there are 213 respondents involving netizens in Malaysia, where the response time took approximately 5 to 10 minutes. The questionnaire contains 23 questions included in 3 sections, namely demographic details in section A, knowledge on personal data in section B, and data protection awareness in section C. Basically, there are 7 items in section A, followed by 4 items in section B, and 12 items in section C. To facilitate all the respondents involved, the researchers provided the questions in Malay and English. For section A, demographic details. In this survey, there are 140 female respondents, or 65.7% of respondents, and 73 male respondents, or 34.3%, with a majority of 166 respondents aged 15 to 24 years old. 70% respondents have a level of education at the tertiary level, while 72.3% respondents are unemployed. 43.7% respondents live in urban areas, followed by 36.6% in suburbans and 19.7% in rural areas. In this section, or section B, this section covers knowledge on personal data. For the first subsection, the issue covered is regarding information considered as personal data. 96.7% respondents claim to know what personal data is and able to identify various types of personal data or information. Identity card information is the most prominent type of data that the respondents regarded as their personal data. Besides in identity card, respondents are also aware and informed that sensitive data includes financial information, followed by residence address. Respondents also considered that their parents' information, the full name, and health data as sensitive personal data. For the second subsection, this section regards to types of personal data that mostly concerned by respondents about being misused. More than half of respondents, or 66.2%, admitted that they knew and were very knowledgeable about their rights to privacy and the protection of personal data. Figure 2 illustrates which personal information people are worried will be misused, with identity card data, financial information, and personal information being among the most feared categories. The final section, or section C of the survey, is regarding the data protection awareness. In this section, respondents were permitted to select from multiple answers. Figure 3 shows the findings about parties who are deemed to have misused personal data. That 63.2% of respondents believe that telecommunication operators had misused their personal data, followed by banks and financial institutions, insurance companies, marketing firms, and other parties. Victims are greatly impacted by the improper use of data by these irresponsible parties, when many personal data have been found to be freely shared in previous platforms. Identity theft, loss of faith in people, and financial loss were among the 3 primary impacts experienced by respondents. Not only that, but this issue also additionally has an impact on their life, leading to the loss of some people's job, strained friendships and ties to family, and unsettled emotions. The finding in this section, the finding shows that only 49.8% respondents admitted that they did not face data misuse and agreed that they knew how to protect their personal data. Additionally, in terms of action taken upon data misuse on social media, only 46.9% respondents admitted that they know what to do, which majority answered to report to the Malaysian Department of Personal Data Protection or JPDP and relevant authorities as shown in figure 4. The finding also shows that only 44.1% of respondents admitted that they have heard of Malaysian Department of Personal Data Protection, JPDP, and 70.2% of them agreed that they knew about the role of the department. In terms of awareness of personal data protection law, generally, only 43.2% respondents knew about PDPA Act 2010 in Malaysia, and only 39.8% of respondents were familiar or very familiar with the Act. This finding aligns with Markham et al., who mentioned that the level of awareness among the youth in Malaysia on the existence of personal data protection law and knowledge on how this law can provide protection needs to be improved. In conclusion, most respondents understand personal data and have a good understanding of privacy rights and personal data protection. However, it was discovered that more than half of the respondents were unaware of data protection in the context of the responsible authority, specifically the Malaysian Personal Data Protection Department, JPDP of MCMC, and the Regulating Act known as PDPA 2020. Lack of data protection awareness hinders the netizens from making appropriate actions to prevent further personal data misuse, such as reporting to the Malaysian Department of Personal Data Protection and relevant authorities. More initiatives should be planned by relevant authorities to raise Malaysian netizens' awareness of personal data protection, particularly about procedural knowledge. Since this study only focuses on data protection among youth netizens or data subjects, it is recommended that future research will focus more on the data users or the entities who use and process personal data as defined in the PDPA 2010. And that's all from me. Thank you so much, and thank you for watching.